Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping into a topic that can feel a bit overwhelming when you're just starting out. We're talking about the tarot.
We are. And our mission today is really to move past just, memorizing what the book says about the magician or the hanged man.
Right. We want to understand how to stop relying on those guidebooks and actually start building a solid personal framework, one that connects the deck structure with your own intuition.
That's absolutely the goal because so
Yeah.
many people see it as this battle between, following strict rules on one side and trying to force some kind of magical intuition to just appear on the other.
Yeah, that's a real struggle.
It is. But what these sources show us is that the deck it's inherently systematic. It's built on these eternal, really reliable cycles. And if you can grasp that structure.
Then the intuition isn't magic anymore.
Exactly. It's just the most refined form of your learned knowledge.
Okay, so let's unpack that structure then, because it sounds like the system itself is kind of the first step to any interpretation. We're talking about 78 cards, right? Split into two main parts.
That's right. You have the major arcana first. Those are the 22 big, iconic numbered cards.
The ones everyone recognizes, the
Yeah.
Lovers, the Tower.
Yep. And they represent these fundamental big picture lessons. They talk about your environment, about external influences, the spiritual phases you're moving through. It's the what is happening to me on a grand sort of inevitable scale.
And then you have the Minor Arcana.
The four suits.
Right.
This is your everyday focus. It's the immediate here and now.
So the how, the when, the what, and the who.
Exactly. They're the practical instructions for navigating those larger energies from the major arcana. It's like, the major arcana is the weather forecast.
And the Minor Arcana tells you if you need a light jacket or a full-on umbrella.
That's a perfect analogy.
Okay, now let's circle back to that word.
Okay.
Intuition.
It's so tricky. When I first started, I genuinely thought intuition meant I had to, wait for a lightning bolt of cosmic genius.
And that's such a common misconception. The sources are really clear on this. Intuition is not some mystical gift. It's learned knowledge that gets refined through practice.
So it's more like a skill you build.
Think of a chess grandmaster. They don't sit there and calculate every single possible move. They just see the board and they know the right path.
An instinct.
An instinct, yes, but it's an instinct born from internalizing thousands of patterns. So that initial impulse you feel when you look at a card, that very first impression, it's guaranteed to be right because it's based on patterns you've already started to recognize, even if it's subconscious.
But what if that first impression is just, pure fear? Say I draw the Five of Swords and my gut just clenches with anxiety. How do I trust an impulse that feels so negative?
That is a brilliant question, and that's exactly where the structure comes in to support the impulse.
So your impulse is fear. The structure lets you immediately put that into context. You know the Five of Swords is from the suit of air, which means it's a mental battle, an intellectual conflict.
Not a real physical threat.
Right. And you know that fives in general often involve some struggle or instability, so the intuition isn't telling you something terrible is about to happen. It's telling you, hey, you are currently holding on to a painful mental pattern. The learned knowledge of the structure refines that raw emotion.
I see. So to build that knowledge, we have to understand the energy of the four suits, the elements.
Exactly. We always start with wands, which is fire. That's the spark. Action, identity, passion, new ideas. Fire naturally rises.
And as that spark rises, it becomes
Yeah,
air, the suit of swords.
right. And air spreads out. That represents the mind, the intellect, big decisions, reason, and unfortunately, challenges and conflicts.
Because the mind loves to overthink things.
It really does. Then, when those ideas start to settle, they flow into cups, which is water. Water flows downward. It's all about emotions, relationships, your inner life, intuition, and, interestingly, cash flow.
Cash flow. It seems random.
Well, think about it. Money is an energy that has to move. It has to flow. So it's tied to water.
Okay. And finally, that water settles into...
Earth. The suit of coins, or pentacles. Earth provides stability. It's your material resources, your physical body, long-term manifestation. It's the final result.
So understanding that cycle is key.
It's critical. It answers questions that trip up beginners all the time. Like, energetically, why does the Ace of Wands, that fiery new start, come right after the Ten of Pentacles?
Which is like
Yeah.
ultimate stability.
Yes, because the Ten of Pentacles is the culmination of material success and legacy. Once you've built that solid foundation, you are finally ready for the next great spark of passion. The Ace of Wands. The whole cycle begins again.
The foundation supports the spark. That makes so much sense. Okay, so that brings us to what you mentioned earlier, the biggest tripping point for people reaching for the book.
It's just so tempting. The sources say it's both far too easy and far too complex.
How could it be both?
Well, it's easy because it gives you an instant answer, but it's complex because that answer is filtered through someone else's entire mythology and history. It's not your connection, it distracts you.
So we need a roadmap before we even draw the cards.
We do. And the sources point to two crucial first steps in that roadmap. First, you have to clarify the context of your question.
You mean like, is this about love or my career or my health?
Exactly. Are we talking about love, career, personal development? If you pull the Eight of Pentacles, its meaning just changes completely depending on the context. In a career reading, it's about diligent, focused work.
But in a love reading, it could be about putting effort into the relationship.
Precisely. Context is everything.
And the second step is clarifying what kind of information you actually want.
Yes. This is where people really get stuck. Are you asking for clarity on how things are right now? Or do you want a recommendation for action? A concrete step to take?
Or just a glimpse of the future if you stay on the same path.
You need to know. Think of the classic W questions. What, who, how, when, why? If you're asking about a job change, you have to zero in. Is the question, what will the new work environment be like?
Or is it, how will this affect my finances?
Or maybe it's, why am I so resistant to leaving my comfort zone? If you don't clarify, the cards try to answer everything at once and you just get chaos.
And the deck actually gives you physical feedback on this, doesn't it? I love this detail from the sources about jumpers.
Yes. When multiple cards literally jump or fall out of the deck while you're shuffling.
What does that mean?
That's the deck basically yelling, I don't know what you're asking, you need to narrow your focus. It's an incredible feedback mechanism once you stop just relying on the book.
Okay, this is where it gets really fascinating for me. Connecting that structure to the actual images, the symbols. The sources call them power transformers.
I love that term. It's perfect. They take this massive, sometimes overwhelming energy of an archetype and make it practical, accessible through a single focused image.
And a great example of that is the blindfold.
A phenomenal example. It's such a potent symbol, but it only shows up twice in the entire deck. And both times it's in the suit of swords.
The realm of the mind and its challenges.
Right. And it has these ambivalent effects. On one hand, a blindfold can mean deep concentration. You're shutting out the noisy external world to access your inner vision.
But it can also mean the exact opposite. Disorientation, ignorance, being trapped.
Exactly. And you see that difference so clearly between the Two of Swords and the Eight of Swords.
Okay, let's break that down. The Two of Swords.
In the two, the figure is perfectly balanced. They're sitting on a stone bench holding two crossed swords, and behind them there's this surging water. The blindfold here means they've chosen to look inward to find peace.
So the truth isn't out there in the chaotic water.
The truth is internal. The balance is effortless because they've resolved the conflict by focusing on their own internal logic.
But then you get to the Eight of Swords, and that blindfold feels completely different.
The energy is totally different. The figure is blindfolded, yes, but they're also surrounded by a fence of 8 swords stuck in shallow water. That blindfold is a mental prison.
A self-imposed one, though, right?
Crucially, yes. If you look closely at the Rider-Waite card, their legs are free. They could literally just step out of the trap. The blindfold and swords are limitations created by self-doubt, by negative thinking.
So the symbol forces you to ask, am I using this blindfold to focus, or am I using it to trap myself?
That is the question.
And we can apply that same deep dive approach to the numbers themselves. Like, aces are more than just a quick yes.
So much more. They are the purest, highest potential of their suit. The seed of the element. It's the promise of a new beginning, just waiting for you to nurture it.
And twos, like in the Two of Swords, are always about duality, balance, decisions.
Always. You have two forces that need to be reconciled. In the Two of Wands, it's deciding which path to take. In the Two of Cups, it's finding harmony with another person. It's the friction you need to move forward.
And tens, they aren't just fulfillment.
No, they're the culmination, the absolute completion of that suit's journey. The Ten of Cups is that happily ever after moment of complete emotional fulfillment. The Ten of Pentacles is legacy, stability, enduring success. You've learned all the lessons of that suit.
You've mastered it.
Exactly. And speaking of mastery, we should mention the major arcana here. When one of those cards shows up, it just carries so much weight. People fear cards like the Tower or Death.
Understandably.
Of course, but they represent these profound external forces that are forcing an inevitable change.
They're the universe stepping in.
It's the universe saying, you've become too rigid, I have to tear this down to make space for real growth. They are necessary forces. Liberation through letting go. The major arcana really provides the stage, and the minor arcana acts upon it.
Okay, so once you have those individual card insights, how do you combine them? What about when you pull a full spread?
Right, the frameworks for combining them. First, you just look at the suits. If you draw, say, 2 or 3 cards from the same suit, the energy is amplified. It's often showing a progression.
Like going from the 2 of cups to the 10 of cups.
Perfect example. From initial togetherness to complete fulfillment, the path is clear. You've mastered that emotional realm. If the suits are mixed, they're either supporting each other or contradicting each other.
Fire and air work together, water and earth work together.
Right. Action and ideas need each other. Feelings and stability support each other.
Then you look at the numerology.
Yep. Ascending numbers, a 2, then a 5, then an 8. That's clear progression. But descending numbers are more subtle. If you read a 10 of cups, followed by a 2 of cups.
That doesn't mean the relationship failed.
Not at all. It means a lesson needs to be repeated. Or that you need to go back to basics. You hit that peak of fulfillment, but maybe you lost the initial connection. That balance, the number 2 represents.
And if you get the same number in different suits.
Reinforcement. Multiple 2s means decisions and duality are dominating the entire situation, no matter the context.
So what happens when you combine major and minor arcana in a reading? The sources say there's a clear hierarchy.
There is. The major arcana is the main energy. It's the environment, the greater influence that you really can't avoid.
Give us an example.
Okay, let's say you draw the Emperor, major arcana, structure, authority, alongside the 3 of Pentacles.
It's just about collaborative work, building something.
Right. So the Emperor dictates the environment. It's telling you the situation requires discipline, structure, maybe a clear hierarchy. And the 3 of Pentacles gives you the instruction. It's the how.
So the work needs to be collaborative and methodical, but within the rules set by the Emperor.
You've got it. The Emperor is setting the rules of the game.
We also have to talk about timing, which the sources say is not linear in tarot at all. It's more like a field of possibilities.
A massive field of possibilities. And our decisions can either speed up or slow down when those possibilities materialize.
So how do you start assigning any kind of time frame?
The simplest way is to use the card's number. Days, weeks, or months. But you have to trust your gut. If you pull the world, number 21, it probably doesn't mean 21 years.
So you refine it with the elements.
Exactly. Wands are fire, swords are air. They're dynamic, quick-moving. Fire spreads fast, air diffuses rapidly.
So they suggest faster time frames. Hours, days, maybe weeks.
Yes, quick manifestations. Conversely, cups are water and coins are earth. They are inherently slower, more stable.
Water flows, earth takes a long time to build.
So they point to longer time frames, months, maybe even seasons. If you draw the 8 of Pentacles, that diligent work isn't happening this week.
One last technical point. Reversals. Cards drawn upside down, some people just ignore them.
You can, absolutely. They aren't necessary. But if you do use them, the sources suggest they can signal that the card's energy is being directed inward.
Okay, what does that mean?
Well, the 2 of Wands usually shows a figure looking out at the world, planning his next move. If it's reversed, that energy turns inward. Instead of looking at the world's plans for you, you need to focus on your own personal potential first.
Or it could mean the energy is just stuck.
Exactly. Stuck in transition from the card that came before it in the cycle, it's a sign to go back and check your foundation.
So if there's one single takeaway from all this, what would it be?
It would be this. Every single interpretation you have for a card is correct, provided you engage with the systematic structure first.
A roadmap.
The roadmap, the structure of the suits, the numbers, the elemental flow. That is the foundation that allows true, reliable intuition to be built.
And as you start to build that framework for yourself, the advice is to start with the classic Rider-Waite deck.
It's so archetypal in its meanings and symbolism. It gives you the strongest, clearest, most reliable base before you branch out into all the amazing modern decks that are out there now.
That foundation is what lets your intuition really flourish.
It is. So we talked about how the major arcana represents these powerful external forces, these big life lessons that shape our environment.
Right, like the Tower or Death, which are about necessary disruption, letting go of rigidity to be liberated.
Exactly. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Which of the 22 major arcana cards, if it showed up for you today, would represent an external influence that is simultaneously forcing you to let go of an old, outdated structure, and in doing so, liberating you into a new, essential phase of your growth.
That's a profound way to think about fate, choice, and personal development. Thank you for joining us for the deep dive. We'll see you next time.